My wife knowingly infected me with chlamydia, so I divorced her and ruined her life. I am living. The only person I have had sex with within the past 5 years has been my wife. I thought I had a bladder infection or UTI and scoffed when my doctor thought it was chlamydia. Well, here we are. I got the test results yesterday, and I have chlamydia. She decided to start snooping, and it didn't take long to find the text messages between her and her boy toy. My guess is she doesn't even know she had it as well. She thinks I stayed up all night working, but little does she know I've already emailed her little lover's wife all the text messages. I warned the lover boy's wife that he's been sleeping with an infected woman, and to get herself tested. I'm still deciding how to process this all, but wifey's going to wake up to my positive test results and the messages of her infidelity. The sun should be coming up in the next hour or two, and will probably be the end of this marriage. Update. I'll make a longer update eventually. I didn't confront her that morning. Boy toy's wife ended up responding to me, and she has not confronted her husband yet either. I'm getting my legal base covered first. Relevant comments. Differentimony. So not only did she cheat, not only did she give you an STI, but just to ice the cake, she was warned about the STI and didn't have the bottle to tell you that your health was at risk. I wouldn't wait for the sun to come up. OP. I may need to rephrase. I don't think she or her boy toy even know she's infected. I found her lover's wife on Facebook and got her personal email from there. I have a strong feeling he's not the only one she's been spreading her legs for, so I sent her an email with all the proof I found and a warning to her that I tested positive, and that if her husband thinks he's clean, she needs to get tested yesterday. Mr. Siastek. That koala thing is a string of boy toy messages, don't you think? OP. I guess. Thank you. I'm fully ready for her to guilt trip and gaslight me when she wakes up. That is, if she doesn't come up with some elaborate way to try and excuse the photos she sent of her vagina to her coworker. Water a burrito. I'm not sure about your wife's personality, but I would record what happens and also try to get any cash assets she may have access to out of the bank. I had something similar to this happen 2 years ago, and when I went to confront her about it, she tried to flip the script and play victim. In my case, she even went as far as to claim I was being physically aggressive and called the police. Luckily, the police had my cousin's first-hand account of what really happened and the video of me confronting her with no physical aggression. Eventually, I had her removed from my home and never lost a penny. OP. Yeah, I'm going to record everything. We have a separate account, so my money is safe. The house is my parents', so I'm not worried about property because we don't own any together. Update. My last post got an unexpected amount of attention. I guess you guys do deserve an update. The short version of what happened was that my wife gave me chlamydia. I found out she was sleeping with a coworker and planned to blow our marriage up that night. Thankfully, my drunken mind decided to wait. I had gotten into contact with the coworker's wife, giving her evidence of what was going on and informing her that the two cheaters probably both had chlamydia. I did this because I suspected my wife was cheating with more than one person. In her texts, her lover boy had asked her if he was the only one she was screwing at the time, and she gave a non-answer. I know this dumb broad well enough that I knew she was screwing someone else as well. Luckily, the co-worker's wife got back to me first thing in the morning to explain that she figured he was seeing someone else. The two of them were privately separated at the time, and their separation agreement stated they were not to see anyone else at the time. She had her own suspicions, and she thanked me for reaching out. We agreed that she would not confront her husband until I could cover my own arse legally in exchange for the evidence I had of their affair together. She also confirmed to me that her husband didn't have chlamydia, at least when they were still together. I decided not to confront my wife that morning. I pretended everything was fine and dandy while I looked for lawyers and dug deeper to figure out the mystery of the chlamydia caper. I installed a keylogger on my wife's personal PC and quickly got access to a secret email. Guess what? My wife was talking with someone on a hookup website. The best part was that it solved the mystery, as the man informed her that he tested positive for chlamydia and that she probably had it. Even better, these emails were from months before I was infected myself, meaning she knowingly infected me with chlamydia. I am disappointed that it was not, in fact, the chlamydia fairy that caused all this. I have a lawyer. It's not looking well for my soon-to-be ex. The fact she knowingly infected me made my lawyer salivate, along with a mountain of proof of her infidelity. The house we live in is my parents', and we've kept our finances separate since the beginning. Her chances of getting much, if anything, out of me are pretty slim. I served her the divorce papers last month. I bought a security camera on Amazon when this all started, saying I was going to put it over our front door. I hid it in the living room the morning I decided to confront her. I decided to take one of the top comments from my first post on how to drop this on her. We were sitting and having breakfast when I said, "So, I'm curious, does coworker know you infected him with chlamydia as well?" The short of it was that she cried, apologized, tried to claim it was a one-time thing. I brought up that this was her second affair, tried to claim she loved me, tried to blame me, and screamed at me that I didn't make her feel loved. Yada yada, you get it. I served her the divorce papers and her eviction notice right after. I'm staying with my parents until she's out of the house in a few weeks, just to be safe. I'm juggling if I want to try and press assault charges against her for knowingly infecting me with chlamydia, as my lawyer said it should be pretty easy to prove with the emails we have. Overall though, I just want her out of my life like the STD she is. Second story. My boyfriend said he had a body count of 40 plus. I'm disgusted by him. Is this a red flag? We dated for 3 years, broke up for 2 years, and now we are trying to make things work again for the past year or more. We have an insane amount of trust issues due to his infidelity in the past. Things have been hard, but we are doing better than ever. Tonight we had a discussion, and he brought up the fact that he had slept with 20 plus women in 1 year while we were broken up. Before we dated, he had slept with 20 plus women, and I thought that was his hoe phase, but now I am finding out he has doubled it since. I am struggling to view him the same way. I am almost disgusted by how many women he went through in just 1 year. It makes me question his fidelity going forward, his view on sex, and whether it's just a transaction with him or not. I am worried about his impulse control, and I'm worried that what he acts like when he's single doing coke and fing anyone is a testament to his character, and not just some phase. And then, on a personal level, I am afraid I do not live up to the sex history he has, and the caliber of woman he can get. This has all made me extremely insecure. He told me to try and figure out if this news changes whether I want to be with him or not and get back to him, because he doesn't want to feel judged. I wanted to marry this man, have his kids, all of it. Now I can't even look at him. Will this pass? Or should I just end it? TLDR. BF broke the news of his 40 plus body count, and now I am disgusted by him. Relevant comments. Deleted. IDOWorkHereLady. His view on sex. IMO, that's what it comes down to. It's not a good or bad thing to have any kind of body count. It's bad to be hypocritical about it. What flies for me doesn't fly for you. But it's definitely fair to use this information. Just be honest with yourself about why you judge things. He is not the kind of person you like. You're insecure and would continue to be unless addressed. You seem to already know that you want family, but the person you're with is more of a square peg. You're trying to fit into that picture. OP replied, I think that talk is what will make or break this. I view sex much more intimately than he does. He sees sex as just a casual encounter. Can those two people even be compatible? Update. I did not expect the original post to blow up so much. It definitely goes to show how controversial a body count can be to everyone. I've learned that everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and personally, 40 plus people in your 20s is a lot. But I do have views, more so on the conservative side of things, so to each their own. I want to give a bit of a backup story and answer some questions. The first time we dated, we were living together, and I was a paranoid, insecure, and controlling girlfriend. It pushed him away and ruined the relationship. When I went through his phone once, I found he was on multiple dating sites, but had never physically met up with anyone. I am still considering that cheating, regardless of not having physical contact. During our breakup, he had a brief relationship, but spent most of that time exploring his single life. I can't be mad at that. I wasn't in the picture, and although I can have my opinion, I really can't judge what happened during that time. Personally, I was in a relationship with the first man I had sex with after we broke up. I dated him for the majority of the 2 years we were apart. So even if he fed 20 plus women, I am pretty sure I was having more consistent sex than he was altogether. I think some of my hurt stems from jealousy. Either jealousy that I didn't get to have a hoe phase, or jealousy that he was able to get a plethora of women back home with him. I am bi, but I don't have much experience with women. But I definitely don't want or need a hoe phase, and I don't think having threesomes with him would be healthy for my mental health. I am trying to navigate these emotions the best I can. Now for the update. I didn't sleep at all after he told me about his single life. When he woke up, I decided to ask some important questions that were sending my mind in a spiral. I asked why he did it, if he was attracted to the thrill of pursuing new women, if he was attracted to the variety of women, or if he was desperately looking for a relationship. He explained that he was just a single horny man, and he would take girls home, and either he didn't like how the sex went, or he realized immediately that he couldn't stand them and would just have casual sex and move on. He explained that he wasn't attracted to the variety or pursuit, and he didn't actually enjoy not being able to find someone compatible. We kept in touch during this time, And he would tell me how much he still loved me and how he couldn't help but compare me to me and my mannerisms or personality. And no one ever matched up. So when we finally did get back together, he would always tell me he was so happy he wasn't out there single because all he ever wanted was me, and he jumped right back into my life. The second I gave him any bit of wiggle room, I asked him for validation, and he gave it to me. I needed to know why he wants to settle down with me, if he still talks to or knows any of these girls, if he used protection, if he still desires other women, etc. He gave me all the validation I needed to know that regardless of his escapades, he loves me and wants to be with me for the rest of his life. And I believe that. If he could be with 40 plus women or more, and he chooses to sit here and talk with me for hours about how much he loves me, then yeah, that's got to show that he's putting in effort and time to make sure I feel special. He used protection the entire time, and we both had STD tests done before we started hooking up again. All of the women were found at a bar, so there's no chance of him being able to still contact them. I will just have to trust him on that. I think the next step is to get back into couples therapy with him and discuss how things move forward with this new information. But to me, I still love him just the same. He is still the same man to me, still the man I want to marry and love for the rest of my life. It may be taboo to try to make a relationship work after trust issues, but I have always had them. I have suffered major trauma from AITAs in past relationships, and I will always struggle to trust people. This is something we both agreed on having to work on and deal with. And he has shown tremendous effort in accommodating my feelings in our current relationship. Thank you to everyone who answered with stories I can relate to or advice from similar relationships. It helps a lot to hear that other people are capable of making that dynamic work. I appreciate all the responses, whether they helped or not. I am taking everything with a grain of salt because I really can't rely on strangers on Reddit to give me answers in my romantic life. I just enjoy venting. And especially thank you to the person who messaged me to inform me that moderators were deleting answers that were agreeing that high body counts are a red flag, trying to control the narrative. Again, to each their own.